This is Conversations with a Gender Therapist Q&A, where a gender therapist answers questions from those who are transgender, non-binary, gender questioning, as well as those who love them. I'm your host, Dara Hoffman-Fox, licensed professional counselor. Let's get on to today's question. So today's question actually is two questions, but they fit into the same category. One of them came from Alex through the Conversations with a Gender Therapist Facebook page. Alex said, I was wondering if you have any advice on how to build confidence with yourself in an environment that isn't completely accepting. In particular, I'm afraid that when my grandparents find out that I'm transgender, they will be very mean to me and my family, and our relationship will never be the same. And the second question was one that was left in the YouTube comments, and around the same sort of theme. How do you deal with fear about being your true self around your family? And so this is a topic that probably comes up more than almost any other topic I've heard about, especially from those who are younger. So I'm going to assume that these two folks are probably either teenagers or young adults who probably still live at home. Not to say that other people don't have these kind of concerns with their families, but in particular, I'm going to talk about those of you who still are young enough or still are needing to live with your family. So therefore, this becomes like a really urgent and realistic concern that you have. The way I approach it, and this is going to sound probably not so great at first, is at first, prepare for the worst, and then you can go from there if the worst doesn't happen. So what I mean by prepare for the worst is there's several different ways you can do this. For one, make sure that you have other support in your life besides your specific family members who you're worried about. And so this could mean that there's people in your daily life who you are seeing every day. This could be friends, maybe teachers, coaches, pastors, neighbors, other people maybe in support groups in your area. Do whatever you can to find people who you can connect with. If you are having a hard time finding people in your area, then go online, and that can be equally as helpful for you to be able to find people who are going through the sort of thing that you're going through. And so going online nowadays, it's pretty easy to come across people. For instance, I know some people really like Facebook and they look for different groups on Facebook. Some people use Instagram, some people use Reddit. There's bound to be people out there who are probably going through a similar thing that you're going through. The next suggestion I have for how you can prepare for the worst is to strengthen your sense of resiliency. And so what this means is that, let's say the worst happens, and you potentially maybe even have to find someplace else to live. And again, worst case scenario, what I would suggest is find if there are places in where you live where you can be able to turn to if this was to happen. So in particular, let's say again you are a youth or young adult. Look and find out if there's places that you can go to for youth who are homeless. There's a shelter here in Colorado Springs that provides that kind of service. Find out about that stuff ahead of time if that's really how worried you are about whether or not your family's going to accept you for being transgender. Like I said, just have it on your list of things of, just in case this happens, I know that there's a resource or there's a place I can turn to for help in this way. And you can find out about these kinds of things in a lot of areas if you call 211. That connects you with the United Way, and you can ask them about different types of resources like this. Your school, more than likely, if you're still in school, would also be able to maybe connect you with these sort of resources, and obviously they'd be concerned if this kind of thing happened, so they'd probably want to be able to step in and provide you with help as well, hopefully. So besides that, increasing your resiliency. If things do go badly, And even if they get better later, but they go bad at first, it's going to hurt. It's going to suck. It's going to devastate you. So I'm not saying that you're going to be able to do anything to prevent those kind of feelings from happening. What I am saying is that working on your sense of strength inside, that you will be able to get through this. That can take a lot of work. That can take introspection and journaling, and maybe trying to see if you can talk to a trusted adult, like a counselor at your school, a mentor, somebody like that, that you know that they'll be able to help talk you through these kind of things, so that you will be able to have more inner strength when you go through something like this. Again, just preparing for the worst, just in case. You're going to want to know that you are going to be strong enough to get through this. Something else, again, to bring back into the picture would be that support system that you have. So what I suggest is coming up with, even if you write this down or make a list on your computer or in your phone, of what it is you're going to do after you come out to your family. And who are you going to turn to and talk to right away, that very night that you do it. And you're like, hey, everybody, or hey, everybody, just a heads up, I'm doing it tonight. I'm going to need your help afterwards. I might want you to cheer for me, or I might need you to hold and hug me and while I cry. Go ahead and have those people ready and listed. Think about, where is it that you would maybe want to go if for some reason it does go badly. Where's a safe place you can go? Make a list of places in town you can call. Like I said, those services that you might need to be able to turn to in case it doesn't go well. Go ahead and make a list of the different things you can do for self-care. What are things that make you feel comforted and better? Even if it means I'm going to go out afterwards and get myself a big ice cream sundae and sit in this place that I know, Barnes and Noble, or we don't have ice cream there, but you know what I mean. Think of a place they're like, okay, here's a place that I know will make me feel just sort of grounded and better. Here's a treat I'm going to treat myself to. Here's, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go for a run. Think about what it is that you do that helps you feel good about yourself, and make that list, because after you talk to your family, you might be really emotional. You might forget your whole list. So what I'm kind of talking about right now is like the immediate response from your family. You're going to need to keep all these things in mind over the course of time. For some of you, the worst case scenario might happen right away, and then it might get better. For some of you, it might be fine at first, and then it might get kind of crappy afterwards. For some of you, it might just kind of stay the same, like, oh, it's pretty good and it stayed good, or it's pretty crappy and it stayed crappy. You're going to want to have these things thought about ahead of time, list it out, make your connections, and be ready for when you do come out to your family, and then have all of those resources at your side. So that way, as you go through this, it's either going to go better than you thought, or it's going to go worse than you thought. Maybe it'll go just like the way you thought it would. I'm going to put at the end of this video a slide up that has information about 3 resources. One is called Ally Moms, that's ALLY. There's a resource called the Trans Lifeline that a lot of you may have already heard of, and then also the Trevor Project. Those are all places that you would be able to reach out to ask for more advice and support, to find out what it is that you can do to better prepare yourself to deal with your family, or if you're in the process of dealing with your family and you're having a hard time, these are people that you can turn to and talk to. So in other words, remembering that you're not alone, go on YouTube and find more videos of people who are going through the same thing as you, and just listen to their stories and listen to what they did to try to get themselves through these tough times. And in the end, like I said, it could end up going better than you thought, but I say just prepare for the worst just in case. So that was a really, really important questions, and I hope that that answer is able to help a lot of you out there. This is, again, the Conversations with a Gender Therapist Q&A YouTube series. And if you have a question, you can either leave it in the YouTube comments down here, Or you can go to the Conversations with a Gender Therapist Facebook page, and every Wednesday morning I'll put a post up there for you to be able to write your question. And it might be interesting because you can see what other people are asking as their questions as well. Oh, and if you have any advice for people on how to handle their families or deal with their families, put it in the comments below too. People really enjoy hearing what other people's experiences have been. Subscribe to this channel so that way you'll know when I come out with another Q&A episode. Thanks for watching.